With Catalyst Mission, we are seeking to reach people and train people across the world, and we're excited to have a project in southern India. We connected with a gentleman that was a faithful believer named John, and we were excited to spend a year of meeting with him and talking with him about his theological core beliefs and his interest in working alongside us on the ground in southern India to begin the pastoral training. It was exciting to see the way that the Lord had already prepared him with gifts and prior training to be exactly what we needed as a regional coordinator there on the ground. And so after extensive training with him and spending time talking with him online, we felt that it was a good thing, the way that the Lord was leading Catalyst Mission to unite with him as a potential regional coordinator. And by God's grace, he was willing to do that, and we have now begun to work with him with the training. We also had an opportunity with a woman named Nisha to participate in and engage women in women's discipleship. And so as well, there has been a process of meeting her and working with her to be trained so that we can not only reach pastors in southern India, but we can also train women as well theologically and disciple them in their walk with Christ so that they may in turn disciple others. In March of this year, we completed the second module in southern India, and a group of pastors traveled again to work through the Old Testament. And we had a wonderful time of training with these men. This location is unique and exciting because not only are there pastors that are coming, but the building which we have the training hosted is also the site of a Bible college in India. And we're very thankful because those students are a part of the training as well. And so it's just another opportunity for the Lord to use Catalyst to train young men and raise them up, as well as these seasoned pastors that need theological education in India. It's always helpful to have some impact stories of our work in these areas, and one in particular in southern India are two young men that have been a part of both modules now in our training last year and then the beginning of this year. And these young men were a part of the school, the Bible college where we are located and where we host the training. And they had graduated from that school as well as participating in Catalyst training as well. And upon their graduation, which we got to participate in the spring, which was an amazing experience to see these young men very excited about where they were going, to take what they had learned and share it with other people. And so we had a time of graduation, and then they left and went back home to areas that were completely unreached with the gospel. And we had a great opportunity to see the end result of what we're there to do, whether it's through Bible college or through Catalyst training. We see that these people will take this material, they'll take this knowledge and understanding, and then they'll go and by God's grace and in their faithfulness reproduce this and make disciples where they land. And so I think this was one example for me particularly, and for others there, to see just the Lord's work in using this type of training. For concerns in southern India, ways that we can pray. As we all know, throughout all of India, there's great persecution, and there is intense pressure upon Christian churches and pastors, and violent acts upon them as well. And this is not as much of an issue in southern India as it is in the northern areas, and yet it's still a great concern for the church in India. And so we must continue to pray that God would protect them and strengthen them, that they would be steadfast and immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Also, the location which we meet in southern India is owned by a board of trustees that don't even attend the local church that they run and administrate. And so every time we have a training, we are constantly praying that the Lord would allow these board of trustees to have an open mind and open heart and allow us to continue this training. So our prayer request would be that the Lord would continue to provide this location, because it is a perfect place for us to host these pastors and train them throughout the week. And lastly, just that the Lord would raise up more women to be involved in the discipleship. There is such a great opportunity for these ladies in India to be trained, and ladies here in the United States to help them and train them according to God's Word. So those would be three main areas where we could pray and seek the Lord. Finally, we'll be heading back this year for a new module and a new training looking at the New Testament. And so our hope and prayer is that the Lord would continue to send these pastors in the preparation, and that the Lord would be faithful in our preparation as we go and train these pastors as we look at an overview of the New Testament for module number 3.